Long ago, Earth was part of the Galactic Union. Many planets worked together, shared knowledge, and kept peace across the stars. But humans were different. They were strong, curious, and often unpredictable. The leaders of the Galactic Union feared this. They said humans were too wild. So, they voted to cut Earth off from the galaxy. Trade ships stopped coming. Earth's name was removed from star maps. Communication was blocked. It was as if Earth never existed. The galaxy moved on. Planets forgot about the blue world, but Earth did not forget for many years. Earth suffered. Without help, people struggled. But slowly, things changed. Humans built their own machines. They explored their own solar system. Then they built silent ships, hidden from the galaxy's eyes. In secret, they grew stronger. They studied the stars again. They remembered the betrayal in a far-off part of the galaxy. On a planet called Teller, a scout named Bryn watched the skies. Teller was part of the Galactic Council now. It was a rich planet with high towers and strong defenses. Bryn worked alone in a small observatory on the edge of the northern cliffs. His job was simple: watch for strange signals in cold night. Bryn picked up something different. A signal. Very old. Very sharp. It came from a dead zone, an area where no ships had traveled for centuries. The signal matched old Earth codes, the kind stored deep in history files. Bryn sat up in surprise. He had heard stories about Earth, but only in old books. His teachers said it was a dangerous planet long forgotten. But this signal was well-checked again. It repeated every 6 seconds. It used an Earth language. The message was short: we are awake now. We remember. Bryn recorded the signal and sent it to the Galactic Council. A group of leaders, old and proud, met in a tall silver tower on the capital planet. When they saw the message, they laughed. One of them said, "It's a fake. Some broken satellite from ancient times." Another leader said, "Even if it's real, Earth is not a threat. They are lost and alone." But not everyone laughed. A quiet scientist named Rila watched from the corner. She worked in signal research and knew the codes. After the meeting, she asked for permission to study the signal. The council allowed it, thinking nothing would come of it. Meanwhile, in the deep void of space, a dark ship moved. It had no known design. It left no trail. It passed near Teller's outer colonies. No one saw it. No one stopped it. On Earth, deep underground, there was a base hidden beneath mountains. Inside, bright lights glowed. Screens showed stars and maps. Soldiers and scientists moved quickly, working together in silence. At the center of the base stood a man named Ron. He was tall, calm, and had sharp eyes. He had trained for this day his whole life. He was born after Earth had been forgotten. But he grew up learning the truth. His people taught him to remember. They taught him patience. Saron stood before a large table showing a map of the galaxy. Lights blinked across the screen, marking every known planet. One section, far from others, was dark. That was Earth's space. No lights, no names. Just silence. Saron turned to his team and spoke. "The council thinks we are lost. They think we are weak. They believe we have forgotten them. But we have not. We watch. We learn. Now the stars are calling again, and we will answer." Back on Teller, Bryn could not sleep. He kept thinking about the message. He returned to his observatory and scanned again. This time, he found something else. A sudden energy spike from the same area. It was like a small explosion, but with no light, no damage. Just a wave of energy. It checked the files. No known weapon matched it. Bryn knew it was Earth again. Sent another message to the council. This time, no one answered. He waited 2 days. Then he received a reply, not from the council, but from someone unknown. It read, "You are curious. Be careful where you look." Bryn froze. His station was not listed publicly. How did they find him at the council tower? Rila worked. Late in her lab, she compared the signal to old war records. Slowly, she found a match. A code used by Earth ships during their last contact with the Union. It was not just a message. It was a declaration Earth had spoken in its old way. Quiet, direct, sharp. Not asking for peace. Not calling for war. Just stating one thing they remember. Adrila. Call the secret meeting with a few trusted researchers. She showed them the data. They were shocked. One of them asked if Earth is back. What do they want? Rila answered, they want to return. That night, across the galaxy, strange things began to happen. On a mining moon, machines stopped working for 3 minutes. On a border planet, all ships lost communication for 10 seconds. On a science station, one worker reported seeing a shadow pass in front of the sun. In each case, there was no proof. Just fear. Just silence in Earth. Ron received new reports. His scouts had moved across key systems. No one saw them. No one stopped them. He looked at the stars again and said, they locked us out. Now we hold the key. The galaxy still slept, but Earth was fully awake, and soon everyone would know the capital planet of the Galactic Council was called Zurine. It was the center of politics, power, and pride. Its towers touched the clouds, and its streets were filled with lights and noise. No one thought danger could reach them there. No one imagined the silence that was coming at the main control center. A strange energy wave appeared on the screens. It hit Zurine's defense satellites without warning. One by one, the satellites went dark. No damage was seen. No explosion. Just silence within seconds. Alarms filled the room. Operators tried to restart the systems, but nothing worked. Communications failed. Navigation screens froze. Panic spread quickly at the center of the chaos. A massive display lit up. A message appeared in bold white letters: you left us behind. We learned. We built. Now we return. Earth remembers. The room fell silent. No one moved. No one spoke. The message stayed on the screen for 1 full minute. Then vanished. Council leaders were rushed into a secure chamber. Some were angry. Others were confused. Many did not believe Earth could do such a thing. One elder said, Earth is only one planet. They were removed long ago. This must be a trick. But a few were not so sure. Rila, the young researcher who had warned them before, sat quietly. She had seen this kind of code before. It was human, old and exact. This was no trick. Earth had returned. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, other strange events began to happen. On a space station above the planet Nolus, a cargo ship lost its engines for 5 minutes. No damage. No trace of attack. The engineers found a small note inside the ship's system. We are watching. On a border planet named Farron, a council patrol received a sudden flash on their radar. They thought it was a meteor, but when they followed the signal, they found an empty zone where a colony used to bano fire. No battle. Just gone. Buildings untouched, machines still running. But every living being had disappeared. At the patrol called for backup. When more ships arrived, they searched the area for days. They found no bodies, no damage, no sign of struggle. It was as if the colony had been carefully picked up and removed from the planet above. The empty colony, a single black ship, hovered. Long, sharp, and silent. It did not answer hails. It did not move. It simply watched them. Without a sound, it vanished. The council held an emergency meeting. The room was full of fear and confusion. Some leaders wanted to fight. Some wanted to wait. A few still believed it was a trick by another empire. Rila stood and spoke. This is not a trick. This is Earth. I studied their old methods. I compared. The signals, the patterns matched perfectly. Earth was silent for a long time, but not dead. They prepared for this moment. They studied us while we forgot them. One leader shouted, Then let us strike. Let us send fleets and crush them before they grow stronger. Another replied, And what if we already failed? What if they are already inside our systems? Rila shook her head. They are not looking for war. Not yet. But they are showing us their strength. They want us to understand that they are no longer the weak planet we abandoned. Some leaders still disagreed. But the fear was growing far from the council and the hidden base on Earth. Ram watched the screen showing the Zurine message. He stood with his arms crossed. His eyes were calm. Around him, other officers worked quickly, gathering data from across the galaxy. One young pilot said, They know we are back now. Ram nodded. That was the point. Let them feel the edge of our shadow. Let them remember what they chose to forget. A map on the wall showed the galaxy. Small red lights appeared on it. Each one marked a successful Earth operation, signal interference, satellite silence, stealth scans. Quiet visits to key systems known of them had failed. Earth had spread its eyes. And years across Council space, no one knew how many ships Earth had. No one knew where their bases were. And that was the strength Earth now held. Heldron turned to his team. Send the second message. One more spark before the fire. Back on Zerine. The Council's central tower lit up again. Another message appeared, this time across every public screen on the planet, streets, homes. Ships everywhere, we remember your silence. You thought we were gone. We are not. We walk among you. We do not fear you. We do not need you. We are. Earth people across Zerine stopped and stared. Shops went quiet. Traffic paused. Children pointed at the Scifi had reached the heart of the Council on Teller. Bryn received a strange delivery, a small black box with no markings. Inside was a single stone, smooth and blue. It was the color of Earth, like the old images he had seen. Under the stone was a note, thank you for listening. Not all are blind. Bryn understood the meaning. Earth was watching, and Earth remembered who had paid attention back in her lab. Rila worked day and night. She searched old files, war reports, and forgotten records. She began to see the full picture. Earth had been left behind, yes, but they had never stopped growing. They had learned to move without being seen, to build without being helped, to strike without being touched. She knew the Council could not win a war with Earth. Not with numbers, not with power, not with Pradesh called a secret meeting with a few trusted researchers. We need to think carefully. If Earth wanted war, they would have started it already. They are sending us a message, not to fight, but to choose. One asked, choose what? Rila replied, to listen or to fall. Across the stars, Earth moved again, not with loud weapons, but with silent strength. They had waited long enough. They had shown their spark, and the galaxy had finally noticed far beneath the cold mountains of Earth, deep inside a hidden command center. The hum of machines filled the air. The large screen in front of the room showed the galaxy. Bright lights moved across it. Red lines marked enemy paths. Blue dots marked Earth's silent watchers. Every second, new data came in. Ron stood at the center of the room, his arms behind his back. He watched the map without blinking. Around him, officers worked fast, whispering to each other and tapping commands into their systems. These people were not ordinary soldiers. They were trained from birth. They were raised with one purpose: prepare for the return. Long ago, when the Council turned away from Earth, a few brave leaders knew the truth. They understood the galaxy would never let Earth live free. So, they went underground. They started a plan that would take generations. That plan was now complete. Earth had become quiet and invisible, but it had never stopped. Building ground turned and faced his team. His voice was calm but strong. We were forgotten. They erased our name from the stars. But we watched, we listened, and we waited. Now the galaxy hears us again. It is time to show what Earth has become. The officers nodded. No one cheered. They were focused. They had a job to do. In the room next door, a group of engineers studied captured Council tech. On a large table, a Council drone lay open. Its core had been removed. One engineer said, their systems haven't changed much. Same weak code. Same blind sensors. Another replied, they thought they didn't need to evolve. They believed no one could challenge them. A third one smiled. That was their mistake. We learned faster in space. Earth's ships moved in silence. They had no bright engines, no signals, no names. Each ship was a shadow, built with the best stealth tech Earth had created. They flew through Council space without being seen. They passed near defense stations, trade routes, and supply lines. No alarms went off. No warnings were raised. On one of these ships, a pilot named Kala checked her readings. She had been flying for 3 days across Sector 9. Her mission was simple: observe and record. She had already passed the Council ships. They didn't notice her. She smiled as she recorded their path. Skala whispered to herself, they still don't see us. Could she send her report to command? then turned her ship toward the next target back on Zerine, the capital of the council. The leaders gathered again. Their faces showed stress. Their voices were sharp, reports of lost systems, empty colonies, and strange messages had shaken. Themon leaders said, "We must send our best fleet. Find Earth's base and destroy it." Another replied, "We don't even know where Earth's fleet is." They strike from the shadows and vanish. An old leader stood up. He had been part of the vote that cut Earth off centuries ago. His face was pale now. His voice was quiet. "We thought they were weak, but we were wrong. Earth has become something else. Something we cannot understand." Rila was also present. She listened carefully, then spoke. "Earth does not want to destroy us. Not yet. They are showing us what they can do. If they wanted war, they would have started it already." One of the younger leaders laughed. "Then what do they want?" "Forgiveness." Rila shook her head. "They want respect." The council remained divided. Some still believed Earth could be crushed. Others started to doubt their power on Earth. Ron received the latest reports. He stood in front of the main screen again. The galaxy map had changed. More red lights had appeared. Earth's ships were everywhere now, not attacking, just watching. Called a meeting with the senior command. As they entered the room, he spoke first. "The council is afraid, but they don't understand us yet. We cannot win by force. We win by control. We win by showing that they are not in charge anymore." One officer asked, "When do we strike?" Ron replied, "Not yet. First, we take their secrets. Then we take their fear. After that, we take our place in the stars in another part of the base." A group of young children trained in a quiet hall. They learned history, strategy, and space science. One child raised her hand and asked the teacher, "Why did they forget?" "US." The teacher looked at her gently. "Because they feared what they didn't understand. But now, they will understand. You will help them see." On the council world of Varen, a small station suddenly lost power. When engineers checked the systems, they found a message hidden deep inside. "We are not here to break. We are here to remind." The engineers reported it quickly. Soon, whispers began to spread. Across small colonies and trade ports, people started talking about Earth. They didn't see Earth as a monster. They saw it as a mystery. Some were even curious. Others were hopeful. Back in the council tower, Rila met with a few scientists. She showed them Earth's message logs and tech patterns. One of them asked, "How did they grow so fast?" Rila answered, "They had no help, so they built without limits. No council rules, no slow progress. Just pure survival." Another scientist leaned closer. "Maybe the council was wrong to cut them off." Rila looked out the window at the stars. "It's too late for maybe. Earth is already here in the quiet of the galaxy." Earth's ships kept moving. One by one, they entered places no one expected. They landed on moons, scanned deep space stations, and even passed by the old ruins of forgotten Warsi. Left no damage, only silence. Only signals that said one thing: Garth was back, and they remembered everything. The Galactic Council could not sit still any longer. Too many reports had come in. Colonies silent, signals lost, fleets watched by invisible ships. The fear was growing every day. In the main chamber of the council, the leaders gathered for an urgent vote. Some shouted, others demanded action. A few still asked for patience. But their voices were weak now. The final decision was clear. They would attack. A large fleet was prepared. 12 warships, all heavily armed, all trained in deep space combat. The mission was to find and destroy one of Earth's hidden bases. It was believed to be near the edge of Sector 4, close to the Dark Zone, where the old trade routes ended. Admiral Wren led the operation. He had served the Council for 30 years. He had seen many battles and believed in the Council's strength. He stood before his crew and spoke with confidence. "We face a lost world that hides in shadows. But we are the light. We will find them. We will crush their dreams of return. We will remind them who rules the stars." The fleet left the Zurine docks and jumped through the stars. Journey was smooth. No attacks, no signals, no movement. But the silence itself felt strange. To perfect. After 3 days, they reached the location. The system had 3 small planets and 1 broken moon. There was no sign of life. No lights, no heat, The ships scanned every rock, every orbit. Nothing than a signal came through. Very short, very cold. You arrived. You were late before the fleet could react. The attack began from behind the broken moon. Earth's ships appeared, small, sharp, and fast. They moved like shadows, cutting through space with precision. They didn't send warnings. They didn't speak. They struck without pause. The first council ship exploded in less than 10 seconds. The second one followed 5 seconds later. The fleet tried to regroup, but their systems were jammed. Their radar showed false readings. Their weapons fired in the wrong direction. Admiral Wren shouted commands, but no one could follow them. The battle was one-sided. Earth's ships didn't stay in one place. They moved in waves. One hit, then another, then silence. Council pilots could not see their attackers. Their defense codes were broken. Their shields failed. Panic took over. In just 7 minutes, 9 of the 12 warships were destroyed. The last 3 managed to escape by jumping back to safe space. Even then, one of them was badly damaged. Fires burned inside. Half the crew was last survivors. Sent a message to the council. Their voices were filled with shock. We didn't fight soldiers. We fought ghosts. They didn't chase us. They didn't need to. They let us leave. It was a message on Earth. Inside the hidden command center, Ron stood before the map again. The red lights that marked the enemy ships were now gone. Only 3 yellow dots remained, the escapees. Ron didn't smile. He didn't cheer. He turned to his officers and gave the next command: clear the field. Leave the wrecks behind. Let them see what happened. Let them remember what we can do when we are not even trying. The officers nodded and carried out the order. Meanwhile, news of the failed attack spread across the galaxy. On planets that had once believed the council was untouchable, people began to whisper. Some leaders sent private messages to Earth. Some begged for peace, others offered trade. A few even asked for alliance in the planet Vora, which had long remained neutral. A public message was sent across open channels. We see Earth. We remember Earth. We choose respect, not war. Rila watched the council fall into silence. The leaders did not speak for days. Some resigned. Some locked themselves inside their towers. Others tried to find someone to blame, but there was no one to blame. Earth had sent a clear message, not of destruction, but of skill, of power hidden in silence, of strength that waited until the time was right. Trila met with a group of thinkers and scientists. They sat around a table, not as politicians, but as people who cared about the galaxy's future. Esh spoke first. Earth could have destroyed the entire fleet. They didn't. That tells us something. They don't want to rule. They want us to understand them. One scientist said, they showed us mercy. We should respond with honesty. Another said, the council cannot lead anymore. We need something new, something fair. Back in Earth's command center, Ron read the public message from Vora. He shared it with his council. A woman named Dira, one of the oldest members of Earth's inner team, nodded slowly. This is the beginning, not of war, but of change. If more planets follow Vora, we will not need to fight. Ron looked at the stars. He spoke softly, but clearly. We did not come to destroy. We came to be seen. For too long, we were forgotten. Now, they must remember who we are, what we can do, and what we choose not to do. He gave a new order: no attacks. Watch only. Let them speak first. Let them decide who they want to be. Earth's ships obeyed. Across council space, they became even more silent. They followed ships. They observed stations. They listened. And across the stars, fear slowly turned into respect. First blow had been struck, but it was not a blow of hate. It was a lesson. Earth had returned, not to destroy, but to remind. The galaxy was changing. The attack on the Council's fleet had shaken many worlds. Some planets whispered that the Council was no longer the strong leader it once was. Others felt fear. Still, a few saw hope. Among them was the planet Vora. Vora had stayed neutral for centuries. It was a small world, peaceful, with green fields and quiet cities. But its leaders were wise. They watched the galaxy carefully. When Earth showed its power without war, Vora's council gathered in the Great Hall to discuss the future. One elder spoke. The council has ruled too long with pride and fear. They cast out Earth and lost more than they know. A younger leader replied, Earth is returned not with fire, but with silence. That silence carries power. After long debate, Vora sent a message to Earth. It was simple and clear. We seek peace. We offer friendship. On Earth, Ron received Vora's message. He stood quietly with his council. No one spoke for a moment. Then Dira, the wise advisor, said, "This is an opportunity. Not all are blind to our return." Ron nodded. "We will accept, but we must be careful. Peace does not mean weakness." The council on Zerine learned of Vora's message. Many were angry. They called it betrayal. The Galactic Council had worked hard to keep control. To some, Vora's choice was treason. In response, the council ordered a strike on Vora. They sent fast ships to attack the planet's defense stations. The goal was to remind Vora of their place, but Earth saw the attack before it began. Using their silent ships, they intercepted the council fleet. This time, Earth did not only strike the warships, they blocked council trade routes and shut down communications. Satellites across 8 sectors went silent. This was not just a fight, it was control. Earth showed the council that it could stop their power without a battle. On Vora, the people cheered. The leaders sent thanks to Earth. "You protect us." They said, "You remind us that there is strength in peace." Rila watched these events from her lab on Zerine. She knew the council was losing support. "The galaxy is waking," she told her friends. "Fear is giving way to hope." Some planets started sending quiet messages to Earth, asking for talks. Others began to question the council's rule. The power was shifting. Back on Earth, Ron spoke to his team. "We are not here to conquer. We are here to change the galaxy. We will build new bonds. We will show respect, but we will never forget who we are." Young pilots and scientists trained harder. They prepared to meet new friends and new challenges. One child asked his teacher, "Will Earth fight again?" The teacher smiled gently. "Earth fights only to protect home. And home is where we all belong." In the skies above, Earth's ships moved like shadows, quiet and watchful. Their presence was a reminder. The galaxy had changed. The Council's control was no longer certain. Stars that once obeyed the Council now whispered Earth's name. The turning of the stars had begun. Rila sat alone in her small lab on Zerine. The room was quiet except for the soft hum of her machines. Her eyes were fixed on the screen, scrolling through old files and hidden messages. What she was about to discover would change everything. For years, the Galactic Council had controlled history. They decided what stories were told. They erased Earth's name from records. They painted humans as reckless and weak. But Rila found the truth buried deep beneath layers of least council. Had feared Earth's independence. They feared what humans could become. So they isolated Earth. They cut off trade and communication. They made Earth invisible to the galaxy. But Earth did not vanish. It survived. It grew stronger. Rila sent a secret message to Earth. She wanted to speak with Ron. She wanted to understand their side of the story. Her message was simple. Truth must be known. Days later, a reply came. Ron's voice was calm when it reached her through encrypted channels. "We never forgot. The Council's fear made them blind. We waited. We prepared. Now, it is time for the galaxy to remember Earth's story." Rila shared this message with a small group of trusted allies. They began to spread the truth quietly across the galaxy. Scientists, historians, and leaders listened. They started to question the Council's version of his story on many worlds. People protested. They demanded answers. They wanted justice for Earth. Council was weak, their power slipping. They tried to silence the voices, but it was too late. In a last effort, the Council gathered their fleets. Their ships filled the skies above Earth's solar system. The galaxy held its breath. This was to be the final strike, but when the fleets arrived, they found nothing. No cities, no weapons, no bases, only a single old satellite, still sending a message on repeat. "You never understood. We don't defend Earth. Earth defends us all." Then, like stars appearing after a dark night, hundreds of Earth ships appeared. They surrounded the Council's fleets. They were not near Earth. They were everywhere in every major Council system. At every embassy, the Council was trapped. Letters met in panic. They knew they could not win. Their weapons were useless, their numbers were great. But Earth's strategy was greater. On spoke to his commanders. We do not seek to destroy. We seek to change. We offer the galaxy a choice: return to peace and respect, or face the consequences of silence. The Council had no choice. They surrendered. Darth did not destroy them. Instead, they dismantled the Council's control system. They gave power back to the individual planets. They helped rebuild. What had been broken. The galaxy was free on Earth. Celebrations were quiet but deep. People knew this was only the beginning. The future would be hard, but it would be there. Srila stood beside Ron in the new Alliance Center. It was built on the same land where the old Council Tower once stood. Together, they looked out at the stars. Ron said, "We are no longer ghosts. We are not forgotten. We are home." Rila smiled. The galaxy remembers now, because Earth never forgot. The stars above shone brighter than ever before. The galaxy was quiet now. The Great War had ended, not with fire, but with understanding. The Council had fallen, and a new alliance rose from the ashes. Earth was no longer a forgotten planet. It was the heart of a new beginning. Gron walked through the halls of the Alliance Center. The building was full of light and hope. Representatives from many planets worked together here. Their voices mixed in many languages, but all shared one goal: to build a better future. Aaron saw Rila waiting in the main hall. She smiled when she saw him. "The galaxy is different now," she said softly. "People want to learn, to grow. They respect Earth." Ron nodded. "We showed them strength, but also mercy. That is what makes us different." On the planet Vora, children played in the fields. Their parents spoke of Earth as a friend, not a threat. Trade between planets increased. Science shared freely. Old fears were slowly replaced by new hope. In classrooms across the galaxy, students learned about Earth's history. Not the lies the Council told, but the true story of survival, patience, and courage. Teachers spoke of Ron, Rila, and the many who never gave up. A young girl looked up at the stars and asked, "Will Earth protect us if danger comes again?" Her teacher smiled and said, "Earth protects all who seek peace. Together, we are strong." Back on Earth, Ron stood on a hill under the wide sky. He watched the stars shine brightly. He thought of the long journey, the pain, the silence, the wait. But now, it was over. Earth was home again. A young pilot approached him. "Sir, we have new travelers from distant systems wanting to visit Earth." Ron smiled. "Let them come. It is time to welcome all who wish to join us." The galaxy had changed, no longer ruled by fear or control. Instead, planets worked together. They shared knowledge, culture, and dreams. Srala stood beside Ron one last time. "The future is in their hands now. We only showed the way," Ron replied. "And Earth will always watch over them, not with anger, but with hope." As the sun set over the blue planet, Earth smiled quietly. It had been forgotten once, but now it was remembered. It was home. Stars above whispered a new story, a story of return, respect, and unity. Earth had always meant to return, and now it had.